Warning, there are what I consider to be spoilers for Smiling Friends in this video. If you haven't seen the show yet and want to go in without knowing some of the best bits, I'd advise you to save this video to watch later and immediately get yourself a free trial of YouTube TV whereby you can set aside a combined hour and a half to watch all 8 episodes. You've been warned.
You know, 2022 wasn't off to a great start for me, all things considered. I know it's only January, but that new Spider-Man movie being one of the most frustrating messes I've ever seen, yet being overwhelmingly adored according to my Twitter feed. Plus, said Twitter feed materializing exhaustingly heated discourse over whether or not an unconfirmed new Mario Kart game will focus on guest characters or not. Not to mention some stuff going on IRL. It all culminated in me getting pretty burned out way too quickly into the start of this year. But fortunately, I found refuge from the unceasing barrage of mentally draining online fiascos in the last place I ever would have imagined: cable television.
Smiling Friends, premiering January 9th at midnight.
What is your business?
To make you smile?
On Adult Swim.
On the midnight strike of 12, January 10th, 2022, Adult Swim aired the entire first season of Smiling Friends, a new animated sitcom from creators Zach Hadel and Michael Cusack. Oh, and just for the record, I used and abused a 14-day free trial of YouTube TV to watch it. I don't pay for cable, or HBO Max, and I ain't setting sail on the high seas in this case either. Zach and Michael have earned my support in exchange for fueling me with funny free content for years. Particularly, I've been a fan and follower of Zach Hadel, or Psychic Pebbles, for quite some time. I think my first exposure to him was on JonTron's Christmas special circa 2014, and that acted as a gateway drug to the weird but wonderful world of his grotesque animations and hilariously captivating presence on the Sleepycast, home of the Sleepycast. And from there, I'm sure many of you watching this now are more than familiar with his continued appearances on the channel Oneyplays. The things he says during these Let's Plays alone are so funny to so many people that tribute animations using their conversations as audio have become massively popular. In fact, if you've just now discovered my channel or have only been around for a couple months or weeks or so, you should know that I am one of those animators. And my crude recreation of Zach Hadel in puppet form is one of the single biggest contributions to the size of my current YouTube subscriber base.
But I don't know about any of that big city stuff, but way down here in the South, we do things a little differently.
The other showrunner, Michael Cusack, on the other hand, I didn't know much about before being exposed to him when Zach Hadel started hosting him on his very positive streams, wherein the two of them would draw chat suggestions of characters and/or concepts, and would typically end each stream by coming up with a pitch for a TV show, which were very often terrible and consequently hilarious. Their chemistry together on those streams was palpably entertaining, but I was still curious at the time of what Cusack's independent body of work looked like. I will admit, I didn't find too many of his YouTube animations all that funny, but when I discovered that he created a show on Adult Swim called YOLO Crystal Fantasy, I gave it a watch to see if it was any good. And, well...
Double turkey cup. This is the double turkey cup. Everybody come and sing this song, cause this is a double turkey cup song.
Suffice it to say, I think it's one of the funniest animated shows ever made. Suffice it to also say, I am a fan of these two rainbow-brained computer goblins and the machinations of merriment secreted through their funny glands. So naturally, I've been hotly anticipating the premiere of this show and was perhaps a little too biased going in.
So now what? Do I inspect every episode in detail, all the while identifying the origins of particular gags and references? Do I review the season as a whole without going into spoilers so you all can watch it for yourselves with only my surface-level assessment and impressions going in? Do I identify and dissect a particular strand of the show's DNA, thus initiating a uniquely fascinating conversation around not just the show, but the elements that I believe make it enjoyable? I have a question for you, man. Sure, what's up, man? Well, it's just, you've been making Nintendo videos for like months now. Why are you now deciding to make a video about an adult animated show? Well, not to make too fine a point out of it or no thing, but frankly, I just wanna... Just wanna what? I just wanna... No, and a sentence, dude. That's the complete thought. I just wanna. That's all. Would you mind telling me why you just wanna? Well, you wanna know why I just... Yes, I'd like to know, please. Sense. I can tell you why I just wanna. If you could tell me, I think I can. That'd be great. I think I can tell you. Or actually, no. Don't tell me. I can tell who? Don't tell me. Tell them. Tell them? Tell them. But you're the one who... Oh, wait a minute. You know, because you were saying... Yeah, you were talking about how you wanted to... You know, what you...
Okay. In a sentence, Why did I enjoy Smiling Friends? Because it was funny. In a more exact sentence, because it was honestly funny. At no point in any episode did I think to myself, that was a stretch, maybe I can muster a pity laugh for the effort. Or, haven't seen that a million times, gosh, where's the originality? And even when some jokes or events were telegraphed in such a way I could pretty much tell where it was going, I still found joy in how the execution was handled. If one aspect of a scene is maybe a little weak, some other aspect or 12 will prop it up and make it downright brilliant. Whether it's the way a character moves, or looks around, or does something subtle, or some background gag catching my attention, or the delivery of certain lines, or even the lines themselves.
Oh yeah, we will definitely go to China to bury you, man.
One of the primary reasons this show is so funny to me is due in large part to the juxtaposition of how this crazy world and its inhabitants look to how surprisingly relatable the dialogue, actions, and circumstances are. Not in a BoJack Horseman, Big Mouth, or Rick and Morty sense of, yup, that's basically how the world works and people work, and it's very deep and very dark. Cry about it or laugh about it, cause if you're not doing one, you're doing the other, sweetie. No, Smiling Friends' relatability comes more so from the subtle things the characters do.
I didn't know if you were this place or the one next to
Yeah, I think it's just something to do with the way the address shows up in the app. I mean, it's not a problem. Don't even worry about it.
This is something that's also fairly prominent on Michael Cusack's previous Adult Swim show, YOLO Crystal Fantasy. The way these larger-than-life cartoon characters that barely resemble the reality we know can be so nakedly relatable in the little things they do and interactions they have, it pleasures my humor response valves to an insane degree. But of course, this real meets ridiculous concept alone would be a bit too esoteric to run in 11-minute increments. So a main cast and sitcom framing are needed in order for it to work in the context of a show. Smiling Friends centers around a business agency called Smiling Friends. They're an organization whose job it is to make people smile. It's a pretty vague concept, but that's why it's so genius. Their clients can range from a gloomy Gus who lives down the road to a princess who resides in an enchanted forest. Though in complete honesty, the whole get the client to smile angle doesn't need to play into the plot at all. On a couple of occasions, some light work needs to be done around the office, or they get outsourced duties from the police department so they have to solve a murder mystery, or an opposing force threatens their business, etc., so on.
The sheer amount of potential avenues that can be explored on the show are staggering. The get the client to smile template alone has got to have at least 4 or 5 seasons worth of great ideas in it. But when you add the amount of other plots these crazy creatures can squirm about in, it's downright redonkydonk. Now, I don't even mean just redonkydonk, but I mean down, and I can't even emphasize this other part enough, but right redonkydonk. So, yeah. 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 Yeah.
But of course, no amount of episode synopses in the world would be worth it if the characters aren't compelling. And let me tell you, in a landscape of adult animated TV shows where audiences are made to watch belligerent a-holes of grade A variety engage in abhorrent acts because the drama is weighty and the laughs come hard and fast at the absurdity of their cruelty or inability to learn from the error of their ways, it is so nice to have a cast of main characters who not only typically have good faith intentions and motivations, but are also nice themselves. They're not angels, don't get me wrong, but they're relatable, they're friends. They're not sociopathic or pessimistic, and they want to make people smile. That is just straight up beautiful, no dip. Our main duo, our Fred and Barney, our George and Jerry, our Sam and Max, our Snobbert and Swell, are Pim and Charlie. These two are the field agents of the operation. When a client requests a smile, these two are the ones who make it happen.
Picking up twigs, I like picking up twigs. 1 twig, 2 twig, 3 twig, 4. I like twigs and I want some more. Oh, thank you, Mr. Bird.
Pim is energetic and bombastically positive. He's a SpongeBob SquarePants Phineas Flynn type. He's normally got a good attitude and is eager to spread his cheer onto everyone he meets. But this isn't to his detriment, though. He's not incapable of feeling sad, angry, jealous, forlorn, frustrated, indignant, petulant, frightened, prideful, melancholic, concerned, or otherwise at all, far from it. Over the combined hour and a half or so that makes up these first 8 episodes, we've seen him express all of the above. Still and all, he's a character who's very easy to understand on a first impression. He loves his job, and his job is to make people smile.
Let's go out there and make people smile!
Oh my God, I did not think he was gonna do that. That scared me. That actually scared me a little bit.
Charlie, on the other hand, is a much cooler cucumber. He's typically very mellow. He's a down-to-earth, speaks his mind but minds his business sort of guy. He doesn't really share Pim's enthusiasm for making people smile, it's just sort of his job. Still, he doesn't work blue. I wouldn't say he's lazy or apathetic. He just sort of does what he has to do and doesn't make a fuss about it. Although he is more easily agitated. I wouldn't say he's short-fused, but if their situation gets hairy or sticky or uncomfortable or obnoxious or what have you, he'll call it like he sees it.
Which hand of the which hand will it be?
This is the most obnoxious thing I've ever experienced in my life.
His dynamic against other characters they meet is typically a more reliable source of humor than Pim's, because his relative nonchalance set against the ridiculousness of their interactions and/or settings is just funny. That's not to say Pim doesn't work well off others, though. He just works in a different kind of way that, honestly, doesn't get utilized all that often over the course of this season. But the interactions he does get over the course of the season that do go well utilized are the ones he shares with Charlie. Oftentimes, when Pim and Charlie talk to each other one-on-one, their chemistry is just as electric as their voice actors/creators Michael Cusack and Zach Hadel's were on the very positive streams. Like, duh, right? But anyway. They're not the only recurring characters on this show. There's also the boss, or Mr. Boss, who is, well, their boss. He's eccentric, he's off-kilter, he's visually very different from the other critters that poke around the office. He is just delightfully weird, and the delivery of his mucho loco dialogue is done expertly well by Mark M. of Sick Animation fame.
No, don't fret, young Pim. It's just a little bit of friendly competition.
There's also the other two Smiling Friend workers whose appearances are mostly relegated to the break room this season, Alan and Glep. Alan is a pedantic and semi-unsociable Squidward type. Was this Commedia dell'arte reference intentional? Like I swear, look at them side by side. I can't tell who's who. I can't tell who's who. I can't tell who's who. I can't tell. He's generally uninvested in whatever Pim and Charlie are up to, but does keep himself busy with smaller things here and there, like organizing paper clips or tending to his compost.
How is that even fair? You're just button meshing, Glep. There's no skill to that.
Glep is... I mean, just look at him. He's small, he speaks a gibberish gremlin language, he sits on a big beanbag chair, he spits, he skitters, he kicks, he's well, he's just a cute little fella, isn't he? There are several other characters who pop up here and there, some more often than others, who all offer uniquely funny moments throughout the show. But I don't feel I need to go over all of them here, you get the idea by now. The main cast of kooky coworker characters are contagiously captivating and kill it consistently with their crazy... capers and they're good guys. They're all right. I'd give each of them an Asgardian handshake.
So remember how earlier I summed up my reason for enjoying this show in a sentence by saying it was honestly funny? Yeah. Why did I use the word honestly? Why not exceptionally, or outrageously, or thoroughly, or consistently? These adverbs all make sense given my assessment of the show up to now, yeah? Well, I use the word honestly because underneath all of the quirks and eccentricities and 3D squeltons, there is a very clear passion for creativity among the staff and an investment in appealing to the people watching.
In every episode, there are so many funny things going on that they can't all be fully appreciated on a first watch. Before writing this script, I rewatched every episode at least 3 times, and each time I found some other aspect of every other scene that I didn't catch before, and they made me laugh all over again. And a lot of the main foreground material is just so funny that it made me laugh again because. I don't know if anyone else is this way, or it's just my Asperger's, but when I watch or play or read or listen to entertainment these days, my mind is always ruminating on the people who craft the subject of interest more so than the subject of interest itself. That's not to say I don't get invested, because I do. I cry at sad moments that I don't even like sometimes. But moreover, it's to say, I imagine how somebody came up with that, and how inspiring, or on the other hand, frustrating it is that they did, and how I, in turn, am now watching, playing, reading, or listening to it. And in the case of Smiling Friends, I get this overwhelming vibe that the people who collaborated toward the effort of creating the show genuinely, earnestly, honestly wanted me to smile when I watched it.
All right, noted. That's just straight up beautiful, by the way.
In conclusion, my only major issue with the first season of Smiling Friends is that there isn't enough of it for me to keep watching and rewatching. I very much hope and even suspect we'll see a second season come to pass in time.
And if/when it does, I hope more is done with the other characters like Glep, Alan, and who I assume are Glep and Charlie's girlfriends here? I don't know. I know there's only so much that can be done in 11 minutes, but I don't know, give the B team more chances to shine, you know? Oh, and I'd love to see more done with the mixed media stuff too. I don't even think I mentioned it in this review so far, but a wide mix of not just art styles, but animation and film styles, ranging from 2D frame by frame, live action, 3D rigged, stop motion, rotoscope, and maybe more, are used to a great effect over the course of these 8 episodes. I'm actually a little surprised we never saw a live hand puppet in the mix.
So, hey, Zach and Michael, you know, I kind of got a sort of a background in theater. I went to a couple community colleges, and again, you know, I don't know if, But I digress. If/when a second season comes, I'll be eagerly awaiting whatever Zach Hadel and Michael Cusack and the rest of their wonderful team have in store to put smiles on our greasy, lopsided faces. Well, that's all from me. Remember, people, is a 2-word command phrase that can also work as a complete sentence. I don't know, I just thought that was a cool little factoid. You know, I wanted to end this video up with like a, you know, some sort of a call to action or way of tying it up in a neat little bow, but no, this non sequitur gag, yeah.
Thank you all very much for watching. Please like this video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more, and share it around on social media if you feel so inclined to help get more eyeballs on it. If you'd like to go the extra mile in supporting my creative endeavors, I do have a Patreon page linked below and probably on screen. You can see that my Patreon pledgers are on screen right now. They're beautiful. I love them each and every one of them. Mwah. Love them all. I don't know if you can tell by the sound of my voice in this end slate right now, but I am kinda sick at the moment, which is why this video in particular was so late to get out, but thanks again for your patience, and hopefully the next one won't take as long. See you next time I see ya.